When your company earns unlimited 2% cash back on all purchases with Capital One, that's serious business. So Stephen at SandCloud got a serious business card, the Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One.
We used our 2% cash back to help build our retail presence.
Savvy, Stephen.
And we get big purchasing power, so our business can spend more and earn more.
The Spark Cash Plus card from Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/SparkCashPlus.
Hello, cheers, and welcome to the Mall Street Journal, the American Rugby pod that brings you all the latest news and reviews for the MLR, the WER, the women's and men's Eagles, and whatever else we can find as we cast our eyes across the USA rugby landscape. We are part of the Wrap Network. We can be found on all your usual platforms, including Spotify and iTunes. If you haven't already, give us a like and a subscribe, or you know what? Send $20 with a nice little note saying how lovely we are. If you tuned in for our second episode last week, you'll recall I am David Lawrence, and I'm joined today from the Lone Star State by Kolya. Kolya, my friend, how are things on the Riverwalk?
Really good. We did have a little bit of rain today, which was strange with June. Now
it's the end times in Texas. I don't know what's going on. So Julia, of course, is off this week. She's actually playing for the Molly Maguire's Sevens in New Jersey. The best part is she's not here to deny that. So I'm really looking forward, now that I'm seeing the foreseeable future, really looking forward to some unauthorized resume building over the next several months. In all seriousness, it did occur to me that when, any of our co-hosts are absent, one of us should come up with a team that they were off playing for. But the key will be it has to be a real team with some history. For instance, in the case of the Molly Maguires, of course, Molly, Molly, were a 19th century secret society active in Ireland, Liverpool, and parts of the eastern United States, best known for their labor activism among Irish American and Irish immigrant coal miners in Pennsylvania. It wasn't too much of a leap to change Molly to Molly, Maullie. The Molly Maguires were a great women's rugby team, particularly in the Sevens, founded in New Jersey in 1976. The team later changed their name to the Lehigh Valley Rugby Club. Kolya, are the Molly Maguires your favorite Garden State-based rugby team from the mid to late 70s?
Sure. If anything from New Jersey is my favorite.
It's hard to pick, right?
Yeah.
Well, our tradition is to start with some news. Kolya, you mentioned that you do have some news. I'm hoping you've got something because I came up blanks.
Yes. So the United States under-23s are playing on a tour of South Africa right now. This morning, they played their first match against Western Province Academy and won.
Oh.
Matches are found on a YouTube channel called Global Sports Network. There's also coming up this weekend and going on to next week, the Rugby Americas North Under-19 Championship.
Wow.
Where the U.S. is going to be playing countries like Mexico and Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. We'll see how our kids do there.
By the way, do you watch these things? Like, are you actually sitting on the edge of your seat watching these things, or do you kind of just check in on scores later? Like, how active are you with the under-20s?
So I watched a bit of the under-23 match this morning, and our scrum was so dominant in the first half, I could tell that there was not going to be much different in the second half.
Fair. Any other things, popping out for news for you?
Yes, one other, and I'm sure we can talk to Julia about this when she's back. Fionn Lewis, the former scrum half of the Wales national team, is moving to the United States to play for a U.S. women's team up in the Midwest.
Really?
I'm not sure if it's a WER team or a team that's going to be in the WER next, but she is moving over here.
Really? So can't you just feel it that if we were live streaming right now instead of recording, like Julia would instantly, even though she's not here, suddenly she would be in the messages being like,
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the big topic this week in American rugby has to be the squad selection from the men's Eagles. Before we get into that, though, we'll stick with tradition and do some reviews. The WER had their Legacy Cup final this weekend in Minnesota, but we are going to save that again until Julia comes back next week. I'm pretty sure, though, there was also one last game in the MLR. Kolya, I don't know if you paid any attention. You want to walk us through how that one played out?
Yes, so the MLR final was this past weekend in Providence, Rhode Island.
Pawtucket, actually.
Pawtucket, Rhode Island, sorry. And between the New England Freejacks and the Houston SaberCats. Both halves were close. New England came out winners 28-22, and I think you were there, right, David?
I was there. It was fantastic.
How was attendance?
It's hard to tell. They didn't announce it. I think the venue is 12,000 seats. There's like an upper tier that they clearly just didn't sell tickets for. So I'm guessing
Mhm.
as it was, the max would have been, I mean, I'm just guessing, but 9,000 so probably 7,500 around there, I think.
Good, good. When my European team, the Ospreys, average about 3,000, that sounds pretty good.
Ospreys, man. Oh,
Yeah.
we cannot start talking about Welsh rugby because that's going to be a whole separate episode.
Yes, yes, yes.
I'm
So,
curious. I'm sorry. If you were watching it, on the broadcast, it's it's a soccer stadium and it's really soccer branded. So like the restrooms, it's not like a traditional men and women sign. It's like a guy kicking a soccer ball and a woman kicking a soccer ball. Like everything there is soccer. Does that come across in the broadcast?
that did not come across in the broadcast. What did come across in the broadcast is that ESPN actually had commentators on site.
Yes, they did. Will Hooley and Alex Corbacero did a pre-show. There's a bar right nearby called the Guild where everyone kind of gathered. It was really funny because eh, we hadn't been to this venue before, and it just so happens it's kind of like the Soho Market in Boston where there's a plant show out the back. On one side there's a bar and there's like tents and free jack stuff and madness, and then you go through the bar, and if you go out the other door, there's like a plant market, and they're selling succulents and hanging plants and artisanal created. Like, it was just a beautiful day. It was really wonderful.
Great, great. So going through the match, first half, it was a sloppy first 10 minutes. Was that seen in the stadium? There were at least four knock-ons in the first 10 minutes.
Everyone looked really nervous. Yeah. And Houston looked ready to capitalize, and it was nerve-wracking. I did not feel good.
Yeah. And then right after that, New England scores their first try through Balakana with some nice open play through Webster. And then there's a nasty shot of friendly fire from New England where Webster, after a pretty good take, gets taken out by his own man.
Yes. Brock, I sincerely doubt Brock is like moving right now. The last 3 weeks, the amount of damage his body has taken, it's shocking.
Mhm. Then rest of the first half, there's a Houston try. Then there's a try saver by Alatimu right at the end of the half. And then another try held up in the red. So first half ended 13-10. How were you feeling as a Free Jacks fan in that stadium?
You know, obviously nervous. What I wanted was us to come and blow their doors off. I wanted it to be 35-0 at the half so I could just kind of relax. Of course, that was never going to happen. Um, but this team, we were down by more than that the previous week, and we have a knack of doing that. Minutes 60 to 80 seem to belong to us. And not right at this point, but at halftime I was talking to a lot of Free Jacks fans, and they were all saying the same thing. We got this. We can do this. We got this. But everyone was saying that like they want, not like they expect. It was a tense time.
Yes. Then second half begins with one of our favorite players, Drake Davis, misjudging the kickoff. And and then a few minutes after that, he does score a try after another New England try. And
Yep.
I want to talk about this. And I want to talk about the commentators throughout the match every time Drake Davis got talked about. Because they defined him as a star wideout from LSU. And there's a reason they did this. And it got me our first week recording. Because LSU football fans remember Drake Davis, but most of us can't place him off of his name.
Hmm.
They know Drake Davis by name, but that's because of all of his off field struggles. In games over 2 years, he caught 4 passes. He caught 4 passes, and ESPN is describing him as a star wide receiver.
To be fair,
He
that's only
caught
4
four
more than I did.
passes.
You know, it's a strange thing with Drake Davis because this was the first time I had seen him in person, and it's so obvious what a ridiculous athlete he is. Like, he looks different than the other people on the field. It looks like he's the
Correct,
varsity
correct.
player and everyone else is JV. It's
Yes.
eerie, and the way he scored that try, even, and it made me feel so disgusted. Like
Yeah.
we were anyway. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I want to talk about something about that. He is what is classified in football recruiting circles an athlete.
Mm.
He is really, really fast. He's really good at tackling. But right now, the calls that you see on social media for him to be part of the Eagles squad, which by itself to me is disgusting, is also disgusting from a rugby position because he is the reason, in my opinion, that New England won this game.
Hmm.
So he does not know how to kick.
Right.
He cannot kick. He will not kick. And also, he does not go back to cover kicks. So, normally, when you watch a rugby match, the normal defensive system right now is to put 3 in the back to cover a kick.
Yep.
Houston could only put 2 back because Drake Davis never went back there.
That is a
I
great point.
watched this very closely. He never went back to cover a kick. So every time New England kicked, there were only 2 people back for Houston, which meant that their gain line success was going to be less.
I wonder if that's because if you're an NFL style, if you're an American football player, you play either on offense or defense. Drake Davis is
Yes.
an offensive player, and when we're
Yes.
watching him, he's waiting for the attack. He's out on the wing. He's waiting. He's looking for the ball. But you're absolutely right. I think he just has no concept of what it means to get back and be doing the other stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. He can play defense because where LSU used him most of the time during his 2 years was on kickoff coverage. But
Ah,
that's going straight downhill and tackling. His understanding of space on a field is not there yet.
mm,
So if USA Eagles decide to cap him for some reason, that would or in my opinion, there would have to be a whole lot more rugby IQ shown by him over the next few years before that's even thought of. Because you can't hamstring a team by putting him down.
do you think USA Rugby are looking at him for our domestic World Cup? Do you think they're thinking the same thing you are, that this kid needs a lot of training and needs to stay out of prison?
That would be my idea, yes. ESPN, however, wants to bring him up because they can get the casual fan to think, oh, he's a football player. Football is like rugby. Therefore, I like football. I like rugby. That's why ESPN brings him up. That's why MLR brings him up. And that's why they don't talk about his past at all.
No, it's conspicuous, the lack
Yes.
of discussion about it. And
Yes.
it seems very American to me. I feel like the NFL is the league that invented the term "say what you will." Say what you will about Deshaun Watson, but he can throw a football pretty far. It's like,
Mhm.
yep, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I will say what I will, and I have a lot to say about Drake Davis if it comes to
Yes.
that.
Yes. And Houston has a couple of these former NFL guys on. One of them, Pano Davis, we'll get into when we
Yep.
discuss the Eagles. He's former NFL. He's prop. He did not have a great game this past weekend.
No, I'm glad to say Rufus was completely invisible.
Yes, yes. He seemed invisible. It seemed like the Free Jacks were trying to shut him down. And part of Davis not dropping back as a kicker or as kick defense meant that there was less room for Rufus.
Yeah, I like all those things. It was such a fun game. So one of the fellow, season ticket holders, founding members, we call him Ranger Kenny Thompson. He's a Scottish expat, and he's a season ticket holder for the Free Jacks. He goes to every single road game. He goes every home game, obviously, but then he goes to every road game as well. And he's a Glasgow Warriors season ticket holder. So sometimes he hops back over. I think it's his granddaughter's in university in Glasgow, so she uses most of those tickets. He's down in Australia now for the Lions. He's going to go see some Lions. He's going to see some rugby league, catch some cricket before coming back. He's amazing, and he organized a lot of the sort of pregame stuff, and it was a beautiful day for Free Jacks fans in particular. Lots of SaberCats fans there. Great vibes. Everyone was friendly. There's no tension. It was just a great day overall, and obviously the result I wanted.
Very good. Very good. Congratulations to the Free Jacks on their third win in a row, confirming them as either the
Don't say it.
American Leinster or the American Crusaders.
I don't know which one. I think I'll take Crusaders. So it can't be Leinster, by the way, because it's not like we get 5 times as much money as everybody else does. Like, so okay, maybe Crusaders. We can maybe I may be okay
Okay.
with that.
Okay.
um, so we've kind of already hit on it. The big topic this week has to be the squad selection. Um, we've been back and forth about it. It was actually the week before last that the list finally dropped. Apart from one particular selection we discussed at length last week, we haven't really talked about it. Kolya, this summer we're playing Belgium in North Carolina. That, I believe, is the first time we've ever played each other. We're playing Spain a week later at the same venue, and then we're in D.C. to take on England, a doubleheader with our women who will face Fiji. Which fixture are you most looking forward to? And, what's your overall level of excitement as we find ourselves just days away from kickoff?
So, for two reasons, I'm focused on that USA Spain match. First, because I think that is a good barometer of where we are as a rugby nation. Because Spain is right over there with the Rugby Europe Championship. They've qualified for the World Cup already.
Yep.
They are getting ready, and they are going to be a very, very good test for this USA Eagles side. The other reason is that there are, as we've talked about on air, I am at least part ethnically Basque, and there are several Basque players on the Spanish team, including Keman Orekoechea, their scrum half from Biarritz, who I have been following for several years now, and he is going to make a move to top 14 at some point and is gonna do some damage.
Nice. Good call. He'll be here to bask in the Carolina sunshine.
Yes, yes. What about you? Which match is your top one?
I think Belgium because it's first, because it's I think our best chance to win because we've never played them because I know nothing about their team. It's going to be a whole day of kind of things. A little worried about it. I think it's very possible we'll go 0-3 on this home tour, which kind of makes it tougher. But there's, well, I mean, looking at this at the squad, it's 32 players named. Who are a couple players that you're looking forward to, sort of seeing this summer? Is there somebody who you're like, ooh, what's this guy gonna bring? Who are you hoping to surprise you, I guess, this summer?
Well, it's a very young squad.
Yeah.
What I'm looking forward to, particularly for the Belgium match, is going to be our front row, and that's got to be Jack Iskaro from Old Glory DC.
Yep.
He's got 13 caps for us in the playoff match for Old Glory. He played the full 80 minutes, and against a squad of or against a Belgium squad where their strength is the pack, he's going to play a big role.
That's a great shout. Anybody else? Who else is kind of jumping off that team sheet for you?
So the kid from St. Mary's, Dominic Besag.
I was just going to mention him.
Right. He's
actually
already gotten 9 caps. He's already gotten 9 caps, mainly through the Pacific Nations series.
Right, and he hasn't turned 21.
And he's still 20.
Yeah, that's literally the next thing in my script. I was going to say he's got a great future with the Eagles. As you said, he's already got 9 caps. His 21st birthday is next month. Mm-hmm. He was the second youngest USA Eagle to ever debut, if I'm right. But I can't find anything about, does he have a club?
No, he's part of St. Mary's College. He's part of the Gales.
Wow.
He plays for the Gales.
I think it's great that Nate Augsburger, he's going to likely get his 50th cap this summer. That's a hard number to get with the Eagles. They just don't.
Yes.
They just don't play very often. I was surprised to see him. I was surprised to see him ahead of AJ.
Yeah, I'm happy. On one hand, I'm happy for him because getting that 50th cap is great. On the other hand, he hasn't been playing for Chicago. For the last several weeks throughout the playoff run, actually, he hasn't played. He hasn't even made the bench.
I did notice that, but I assumed he was injured. Is that not it?
Nope, he is not injured. He was not injured. So I'm wondering if he's been pulled up for this USA squad more as a leadership position, as he's one of the few with a lot of caps.
Right.
Because I've got some stats here for you.
Go ahead.
Just a second as I get a spam call. So our average in our 32-man squad, we have an average of about 9 caps.
Okay.
In our backs, we've got an average of 12 caps. In our pack, an average of 5.
That's really telling. That's really interesting.
This is a pretty young squad. There are a lot of people with no caps who are in the late 20s, early 30s, but it's a pretty young squad.
Yeah.
And someone like Nate Augsburger getting in there, providing some leadership, he and AJ McGinty should hopefully help with a squad that has about 10 players with no caps and several more with less than 5.
Yeah. I think it's 9 uncapped players, but I'm not positive. If I'm reading it right, only 2 of these 32 players play outside of the USA. Obviously, AJ, and then Capelli Pifoletti, who plays in the Pro D2 for, I think, Provence.
Well, there's also the one we brought up a couple weeks ago, Tom Pittman.
Oh.
He is contracted to play with Anthem for next season, but he's been playing in the Fédéral in France. He's the third choice scrum half for the US.
Third choice for us is third tier France. Makes sense.
Yeah.
There was a rumor recently that David Ayanu has quit the Eagles. He's certainly not on the squad. I furiously was looking this up before we chatted today. I can't find anything. Any follow-up on that?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything other than some social media posts from not him
Right.
saying that he's quit the squad. Now, it's entirely possible with how much he's been used that he just wants a rest.
Yeah. I love him too. But I mean,
Yeah.
it's funny though, because what we're looking at now and the things we're trying to find out this summer, the things we're trying to accomplish this summer are all in service of this upcoming, not this next World Cup, but the one after that.
Yeah.
David, I knew AJ McGinty, they're not going to be part of that anyway, right?
Correct. Correct. However, you've also got players like Chris Hilsenbeck getting or probably getting their first cap, and he's 33.
Wow. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
Any final thoughts before we move on?
Yeah. So as we've the schedule for this round of tests is actually really nice in that we've got a Belgian side who are generally playing in the lower tiers of France, but have qualified for the repechage for the World Cup thanks to coming in fifth in the Rugby Europe Championship.
Yep.
Then we've got Spain, who have qualified for the World Cup,
And are
and
dangerous.
other than playing against Georgia, have basically just destroyed everyone they've played over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And without some weird bookkeeping problems, would have been in the last two World Cups.
Bookkeeping problems. That was very politically
Yes.
kind of you.
Yes, yes. And then we've got England, who, although it's definitely not going to be a first choice England side, especially as half their squad's in Lions,
Right.
is going to be full of Gallagher Premiership players.
It will be, but that's going to be the third tier England. If we get momentum in those first two, it's ridiculous to even
Yes,
speculate. It's ridiculous
yes,
to speculate.
yes, yes. But I'm expecting this weekend against Belgium, the US should have too much for them in the pack. Belgium only has a few players playing in the top 14, both at Vaughan,
Oh,
who have both gone down.
who are not a top 14 play team anymore.
And then one player at US Montauban who are going up
They
to
are.
the top 14. But
Thank you,
other than
Argentina.
that, yes, yes. Other than that, they've got a bunch of people in the lower tiers of French rugby. We should have too much for them. We should have too much for them. Hoping,
You know,
hoping.
it, I have to draw an underline under that. If we don't win this game, that is a bad sign. That is a very, very bad sign.
Yes, yes. Then you have Spain, who are a much better side than Belgium, seen by Rugby Europe, with Spain coming in second and Belgium coming in fifth.
Yeah.
And then you have England.
Who cares about England? Uh,
Yes.
two quick ones for you. One, will AJ McGinty be a part of the World Cup squad in Australia, provided, of course, we even make it?
If he stays uninjured, yes.
It's hard for him to stay uninjured. He's too busy.
Yes, yes.
And two, will the USA qualify even for the Men's World Cup in Australia in 2027? It's not going to be easy. We have the Pacific Nations Cup at the end of August. After that, there's a South America / Pacific playoff and then a final qualification tournament that could offer additional chances. Are we going to be there?
I'm going to say yes. A lot of the nations that we are going to play either in that playoff or in the repechage at the end have been going through some things that they might be able to get out of by the time of their matches with the US. But really, if you remember back to the last qualifying campaign, we should have gone in there, except for the lights going out.
Yeah.
We were about to score, and then the lights go out. And if we'd scored, that brilliant try by Chile, was it Chile, doesn't get through.
It was, and
Yeah, it was Chile.
that was possibly the most
That
painful
try
Eagles match I've
wouldn't
ever
have
watched.
meant anything if we'd have scored right before the lights go out.
It was the most American rugby thing of all time, possibly.
Yes.
So painful.
I was watching it on my phone, and then it just goes black as we were getting ready to score, and I'm just, what happened?
Which, as you mentioned, happened during the Eastern Conference Finals as well. On the last kick, woo! It's funny
Yes.
because all the problems with American rugby seem to be exacerbated by the fact that we have this massive unlucky charm strapped around our
Yes.
neck somehow.
Yes.
Where these are the things that it's like, hey, new fans, would you like to? Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. And then one thing I am looking forward to that I forgot to mention when we were going through the US squad is Ruben Das.
I love Ruben de Haas.
He's a NOLA Gold player who has been propping up that team for a bit.
He bounces
And
back and forth with the Cheetahs. I'll bet you
yes, he's
anything he's
played with
playing in
the
the Curry Cup
Cheetahs.
4 weeks from now.
So he'll probably be playing in the Curry Cup after these series
Yeah.
of test matches, and then he'll come back to NOLA and pray that NOLA actually does a decent job this year, because they've got some great fans. I've got a lot of friends who support NOLA.
It's a good city to be a fan.
Yes.
And Ruben Haas, I think, is third on our on this squad. I think it's Augsburger, McGinty, De Haas for top caps. I think he's got 36.
Yeah, that's correct. And unlike the other two, he's under 30.
Oh yeah. And he seems like such a nice guy. He's just so engaged and and by the way, the Cheetahs, they're such a fun team. I was
Yes.
just talking to Hugh and Harry Jones and Maz from Hugh's Top 14 Digest pod. We had a great Top 14 wrap up. The Cheetahs, the best thing about their fans is they don't come wearing the jerseys that they bought at the store. They make stuff. They're like the cosplay fans. They come wearing fringe and tails and ears and stuff
Yeah.
I love the Cheetahs. Also, they play in Europe and they don't have a home. They literally never get a home game. They're like, what hotel are we at this
Yes.
week, you guys? And yet they win some games. It's great.
Yeah. And they're owned by the Ospreys.
Are they?
Yes, the same ownership group owns the Cheetahs and the Ospreys, which is why you
Really?
have a couple of Welsh players who go down to play for the Cheetahs during the Curry Cup,
Daniel
and
Cassende.
and you've got Daniel Cassende over at the Ospreys.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's great. I Postman Dan, they call him. I love him.
Yeah.
And he's been back and forth a couple of times.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, this is the spot where we do our predictions. We kind of hinted at it, but Kolya, what's going to be the result against for the USA men versus Belgium on July 5th?
I'm going to say US by 8.
I noticed on the wrap they're leaning towards actual scores. Do you want to venture numbers?
Oh, I'll say 20-12.
Okay. I'm going to be really optimistic because we need this game so much, because it's so important. I think the Eagles have to win this, and if we do, that means we did it emphatically. I'm going to say it's 24-14. Okay. Finally, it's our goal to find some grassroots stuff to discuss each week as usual. You came through. Kolya, please take it away.
Yes. So throughout the summer, there is Sevens qualifiers for the Sevens National Championship, and those are going on throughout the United States. In my area, Texas is part of the TOLA Sevens circuit. TOLA being Texas, Oklahoma, and Louisiana.
Oh.
And
It's all
this
these
past
things. There's Texarkana, there's Tola, there's all these things down
yeah,
there.
yes. So this past weekend was the Choctaw Sevens played in Oklahoma,
Nice.
where two Austin teams, the Austin Huns and the Austin Blacks, ended up in the championship there. And those are the two teams that are leading everything right now. This next week, we have the Hell or High Water Sevens over in Houston, Texas.
Nice. I'm guessing if it's Houston in July, it's probably leaning more towards hell.
Yeah, I'd say more towards hell. Then after that, there's the Riverboat Sevens in Shreveport. That's going to serve as the championship for TOLA.
Wow.
And then the Sevens Championships over in Madison, Wisconsin, back all the way down in August.
What's the biggest trip you've ever taken? What's the farthest you've ever traveled just to go see a tournament or a game?
Not too far, about Sevens by the Sea in Corpus Christi.
Oh, wow. Corpus Christi is way down there.
Yeah.
So I went to a school called the Recording Workshop in Chillicothe, Ohio. It's like a suburb of a suburb of a suburb. And my roommate was from Corpus Christi. And the first day I met him, he said, "Oh man, I wish I brought a cow's head, man. I could just." I was like, if I woke up in the morning and found a cow's head in the fridge, that would be a little weird for me. But really interesting guy, incredibly nice. He made his homemade version of migas. So he would scramble some eggs and he would put in some ketchup and Fritos.
Yes.
Boom, Corpus Christi migas.
Yes.
Okay. To everybody listening, thank you for joining us for the third episode of the Mall Street Journal. I'm David. This is Kolya. Julia will be back next week. You know what? I'm really enjoying it. It's been going great. Apart from me, of course, getting the teams playing in the Legacy Cup completely wrong last week. But you know what? A few months from now, nobody will remember that, right? Right? Kolya, great to see you. Thank you for your time and your insights. Any last thoughts before we go?
These last few weeks have been fun, and we will get to the Legacy Cup. I watched it. I've got notes on it, or one note on it, that kind of sums up that match. We'll talk about that with Julia.
You know what I didn't
next
ask
week.
you? I know you watched, and I know you are not a Free Jacks fan, but give us a 1 to 10 rating for the MLR final this year. I thought it was great. Like, obviously, my glasses are very rosy colored, but was this a great final? Is the league progressing the way you want it to?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. If this past top 14 final was a 10,
Which it was.
yes, this is probably around a 7. This was a lot of fun.
Well, if it's compared to the top 14 final, I don't think we could have topped 7. So I will take that. That's pretty good. And I'm glad to know that somebody watching from far away who doesn't really care about either of these teams felt that way, because it was a great experience at the time. And I just feel like Major League Rugby is growing. There's these weird things with Anthem. You and I talked kind of offline about how there's more Anthem players in the squad and all that. Anyway, U.S. Rugby is in a complicated place, but we're here to unpack it for all of you. So thanks for coming along. To everybody, cheers, talk to you soon, and be well.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.